This space is for people who are learning how to listen inward and trust themselves again. If that resonates, subscribe and stay a while. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unpacked Sessions. My name is Shayla, and I am so excited to be here with you all. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe for updates on new videos, as well as check out the link to Unpacked Sessions Conversations with Yourself, e-journal that I created that has prompts and different things for you all to journal to that I created. But yeah, welcome to another episode. It's been a minute. I had a birthday. Life has been lifing, but yeah, today's episode. Well, first of all, I want to say that today is Juneteenth. So happy Juneteenth to all who celebrate, all my Black folks out there who do celebrate Juneteenth. I think it is long overdue for this to be such a important day for Black people, for us to be able to celebrate and emphasize so much of our history. But with that being said, I want to talk about how I kind of ended up at this point in, I guess, my level of wokeness overall. I don't think I really have dived like deep on this channel on just the plethora of knowledge that I do have. But I will say, based on some of the videos and some of the topics that I have done, I think it's very clear that I have a certain kind of mindset when it comes to my Blackness and Black history and Black people overall. But yeah, so it's funny because as I'm trying to like move away from this specifically, it is actually what has led me to where I am right now. And that is being chronically online. Being chronically online has had a very big influence on my wokeness. And this is not just like new. I have been chronically online forever, for over 10 years. I think my first Facebook page, I was like 11. I had just turned 11 and I was like going to middle school, and like Facebook was the thing for everybody to have. So that was like my first social media profile that I had completely unsupervised access on. To a certain extent, I will say, like, I had family members and stuff on Facebook, so a lot of times, like, you know, people are watching without watching. But yeah, I have been chronically online since I was 11, unsupervised internet access. And I think a lot of times we, especially my age group, we kind of forget that much of what we see on social media today was like built by like us specifically. So I'm talking about like 96 to like 99. If you were born in those years, then you are quite literally why the internet is the way that it is, because I feel like our age group, our generation, that weird gap in between like Gen Alpha and like millennials, we created I'm sorry, Gen Z and millennials, my bad. I said Gen Alpha. That is like totally wrong. But we created a dynamic where I feel like social media, specifically with the internet, it was just very accessible and usable in a way that I don't think it was ever used prior to, or that maybe people didn't expect it to be used in that way. All of those follow trains, those fan signs, Skype, all of those things, I feel like contributed to so much of how social media works today. I can remember when Snapchat was first invented, and I was like one of the first people to have a Snapchat, and like it was nothing of what it looks like today. I remember when Instagram, you could only have Instagram if you had an Apple product, like you had to have like an iPhone or an iPad. I remember when they put or made Instagram available on Google Play for Androids to have access to it. I remember when Instagram didn't even have videos. Like, I have been on the internet for a very long time. And with that being said, because I have been on the internet for a very long time, I have also seen a lot of shit. I have seen a lot of stuff that has been like really ingrained in my brain, but yeah, I've seen conversations, I've seen videos, I've seen pictures, I've been down so many rabbit holes. I've connected with so many people. Dangerous. But this is what happens when, I feel like this is one side of what can happen when you have unsupervised internet access, social media access, and all these things. I'm thinking too about like Tumblr. Specifically, I was a Tumblr girl down. I still have my OG Tumblr. I feel like I talked about that in another video. No, I will not be sharing what that account is, but yeah, I've seen the highs and lows of Tumblr. Is actually probably one of the most normal social media platforms that we have right now, because everything is just so monetized, everything is so content heavy, and everything is so, I feel like it has an ulterior motive. A lot of the stuff that we interact with on a regular basis, either brain rot, propaganda, whatever the case may be. A lot of stuff that we see on social media these days is just, it's all over the place. And if there's a way for a person to make money on social media, then they will. If it's a way for social media to get you to spend your own money, they absolutely will. There's a lot of talk right now on TikTok. There's like this quote, I guess, going around where it's like, if the product is free, then you're the product. And I feel like so much of our data has, again, influence the way we live today, of just like what we're interacting with, the kind of stuff that we're watching, the kind of, comments that we're leaving on each other's pages. All these things have influenced so much of what we see today. But yeah, because I have been online for so long, and I've, again, went down so many rabbit holes, connected with so many people, it led me to my wokeness, because a lot of the stuff that has come to the surface as it relates to like the Epstein files, for example, or, the political climate of the world, our country, so many things that have been quote unquote revealed are things that were deep on the internet years ago. A lot of the conspiracy theorists that have been proven to not necessarily be conspiracies, these were conversations that people were having on platforms years ago. And as a kid, I would be stumbling into this stuff, and like, having it resurface in this way is kind of like, damn, like I have known this for a while, but it's interesting to like have certain things confirmed. But again, like, I think because of the way I was interacting on the internet and on social media, and how much time I have spent on it, it led me to obviously like read more, talk to different people from different places, and just see the world in a different lens. Because again, if I'm constantly just on this World Wide Web interacting, posting, whatever the case may be, then it's only just having a impact on my brain and how it works. Yeah. In my friend groups, they tell me like I'm addicted to social media. I'm addicted to doing it for the gram, whatever the case may be. But I also think, like I said, it just has contributed to who I am and the type of shit that I know for real. The type of conversations that I've been able to have, the spaces that I've been able to navigate, because just aware. So yeah, I don't think being chronically online is like all the way bad, but as I am slowly starting to prepare myself to kind of get to a space where like I'm not online as much, it feels like, wow, I have spent so many years in these digital spaces, and I've learned so much, and because I've learned so much, I know how dark it can get, and it's just, you just want to remove yourself after a while. That's me personally. I don't know if anybody else has had this experience of just like realizing that your level of awareness and wokeness is quite literally the outcome of you having unsupervised internet access and social media accounts and platforms. But if so, let me know. Speaking of which, I was also one of those girlies way back when you could literally text Twitter. I don't know if y'all remember that, but you could like text to tweet before Twitter became the platform that it is now, and now it's called X and all these things. I no longer have Twitter. It is because I feel like Twitter is, if you are not careful, it is the easiest segue into right-wing propaganda and mindset. I say that because the type of shit that is on Twitter, you have the diaspora wars, you have the gender wars, you have 24/7 access to adult content. You have it. Twitter to me is like the dark web these days, and I haven't had Twitter for like a year now. I think I deleted it like last spring. I deleted it during the Diddy trials because there was a video that was going around that was very disturbing to me, and a lot of the commentary that was being put out about the Diddy trials, it was just very like disturbing and heartbreaking that people could, number one, just like decrease the value of like his victims just based off of like the stuff they were involved in. But it was too much. The discourse was too much, the videos being leaked. I just couldn't sit with it, so I made the decision to delete my Twitter. And mind you, I had that account probably since I was like 15. I feel like I had another account when I was probably like in middle school, and then I deleted that, or something happened with it, and then I had that account that I deleted until like from 15 until last year. And I don't miss it at all. I do not miss it. I have swapped it out for an alternative called Blue Sky. And specifically, I'm on a server with Blue Sky that allows me to interact with just only Black content. So it's just like Black Twitter, essentially, which I really do love. Just because I get to connect with so many different Black people from all over the country. But yeah, Twitter is dark. And like I said, it's the easiest segue to a lot of that incel and right-wing thinking. And I think, again, we have to look at who owns Twitter now, like, or X. We have to look at all of that. So that means the type of information that is being put on there, the type of content that people can get away with putting on there is vastly different from 10 years ago, for example. Just because the person who owns it, he's like a breeding ground for that kind of bullshit. And that's the goal. The goal is to get people so even more divided than we already are. And X is just so good at like doing that, in my opinion, and putting you in a mindset of like just weirdness overall. I just don't fuck with it. I don't like it. Delete it. I also was like, it sucks that I cannot, anytime you feel like you cannot open an app in public because you don't know what the fuck is gonna pop up, it has to go. It has to go. It just became so raunchy, so X-rated. It was just too much. It was too much. I can't. I also know that there was a lot of discourse a few years ago about this term digital blackface and how so many accounts on Twitter are like fake pages for one. There's like this dead internet theory that most of the pages that we interact with on the internet are like fake, are bots. And I deeply believe it because yeah, that divisiveness we see in the comments on Instagram, we see on Facebook, a lot of these pages are not fucking real. They are just spewing AI bullshit that is divisive and argumentative, and it's meant to rage bait you and get you riled up. I know this to be true. And don't get me wrong, a lot of times I argue on the internet. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, I will go tit for tat in somebody's comments, especially if I feel very strongly about something that I said and somebody's like trying to debunk that with either misogyny or racism. Like, I don't play those games. So I'm going to go tit for tat. But then what I realized, like I said, is that some of these pages are literally bots and created just for the clicks, for the engagement, for us to go back and forth with. So we have to be very mindful about how we're interacting and how we're engaging and being able to determine like, this isn't a real person or I'm wasting my time doing this overall. I say all that to say there are a lot of accounts too, especially these quote accounts, these meme accounts, these reaction pic pages that use a lot of Black caricature, a lot of Black memes, a lot of Black reaction pics, and either it is a bot behind the page or it's a white person behind the page. And that is digital blackface. Nobody wants to talk about how all of the things that we think don't exist anymore still exist, but they just exist in a different way, right? So you'll have like white girls or white people on Instagram, on TikTok. Ooh, I see it on TikTok all the time because I'm a TikTok fiend. They will be in the comments just taking every opportunity to turn a Black person into a meme and using them all the time. That is quite literally digital blackface. That is you taking a Black person's response, using it to your advantage to mimic some type of feeling or whatever the case may be. And Twitter was like a hub for that at one point. Like, there were so many pages where there would be tweets that were just like, niggas ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. Just, creating those divisions that I talked about, either the gender wars, the diaspora wars, whatever the case may be. And then it would be revealed after people would like dox them or whatever the case may be that the person behind the page was a white person. Mind you, they got a Black person as a profile pic, whether it be like a celebrity or whatever the case may be. Their at name is like something so quote unquote stereotypical Black. And they're just tweeting like nonstop bullshit. And then the whole time it's just like somebody who does not fit said description. Okay, so we just have to be careful about those things. And I just wanted to shed light on them and how, again, it has all like led me to being such a full circle adult and understanding that like I said, a lot of the things that we think have disappeared still exist. Much of it has just been like modernized into the ways that we interact with each other socially, and a lot of that is on the internet. A lot of that is through social media. I always want my community to be mindful and aware. I want people to spend more time learning media literacy and digital, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Digital understanding and how we're interacting with these platforms. just because it can be so detrimental to your mental health. And a lot of times we are the ones that can control that. I recently told like my doctor, I was like, I can quit anything. I can quit every bad habit that I have. But the one thing that I am mostly addicted to, and I think a lot of us are addicted to, and that's why it's been so normalized, is our phones and our social media. And we just don't talk about the type of things that we engage with or the way that it impacts our brains enough, good and bad. Like I said, my chronic online behavior led me to being a woke girly just because I was interacting with so many different people, but I also sought that. If you are just constantly engaging with bullshit online all day, then like your brain is at risk for so much. And don't get me wrong, my brain is still at risk for so much because sometimes it feels like information overload. So there's good and bad, there's pros and cons of it all. I just want us to be more aware of like what we are dealing with. But yeah, I thought I would just come on here and share how being chronically online can lead you to that, how digital blackface is still is a thing, and blackface is still very, very like it's still here in modern society, and why I deleted Twitter, because it's like the dark web. Make sure y'all are enjoying y'all's Juneteenth. And don't forget to like, leave me a comment, and subscribe. And I can't wait to see you all on the next episode. Bye.